The second one that decides the time factor or the number of sums that you should do in a day is the level of the sum or the type of the sum that you should be doing. Which means that, see, suppose you are doing a chapter like polynomials in class 9 or class 10, or even the grade 8 students, let us say you are doing squares and square roots, any chapter for that matter. You definitely have assignment sheets, you definitely have a textbook, you have a reference book, etc. Now, if you are a student who wants to excel in that particular chapter, you first need to understand the concept in that chapter. Now, conceptual understanding is very important. If you're not able to multiply exponents, you cannot do polynomials. So, you need to decide where you have a problem with the concept. Are you having a conceptual problem of grade 9 or a conceptual problem in the lower classes? Let me explain it to you with this example. This is actually something that happened with one of my students. That particular student came to me in grade 10. So I was taking the chapter polynomials, and she was having a very difficult time grasping the meaning of zeros of a polynomial. And that part is, but if you have done polynomials and you're in grade 10, you know that part of polynomials is pretty easy. So what happened was that she did not know what you mean by the value of the polynomial at all. She had no idea about this because in grade 9 she was finding polynomials difficult and she had skipped the complete chapter. So when I was teaching in the class, I was telling the value of the polynomial or value of the variable x that gives the value of the polynomial as a 0 will give you the 0 of the polynomial. And that child was completely blank. Everyone else in the class was able to do. And then when I gave a test in the class, what happens is that every day after the class I give a small test so that I am pretty much aware about how much of concept they have understood. So I saw that she was not even attempting any sum because she did not know what the meaning of the value of the polynomial was. So the problem was not in the conceptual level of 10th. The problem was in the conceptual level of 9th. So you need to decide where you are having a problem in the concept. Suppose you are not able to do exponents, as I told you, you will not be able to do polynomials or multiplication of algebraic expressions, all those things. So even in geometry, there are certain concepts that we get from the lower classes. If you are not able to understand that part, you cannot do the sums in higher classes. So your conceptual levels also is something that decides the type of sums that you should be doing. Which means that in this particular case, before I start with the zeros of the polynomial of grade 10, she needs to do a few sums regarding the value of the polynomial, which is going to eat into her time or eat into her daily schedule of mathematics. So whenever you are studying a chapter, whenever teacher is teaching you the concept, or you are looking at some videos and trying to understand the concept, understand that all those concepts has to have a basic in the lower classes. Just suddenly out of the blue one concept doesn't come. It always has the root in the lower classes. So the type of sums is dependent upon your conceptual understanding. So if you are a student who has no idea about what is happening in the class, you need to first get an idea about what exactly the teacher is talking about. That kind of student cannot do sums from an R.D. Sharma or Together with Mathematics. These are considered to be slightly tougher reference book compared to the other reference books. These two are not possible. Sometimes I have had very weak students in mathematics come to me with problems from Olympiad. It is like they get it from some places. They get it from the tuition classes where the tuition teacher actually distributes these question papers, and they are not able to solve. They come to me with it, and even if I explain it to them, they do not understand because the conceptual requirements for that particular sum is absolutely not there. So whenever you are studying a chapter, first check your concept. When I am telling check your concept, I am telling you to check the concepts that are required for this particular class. So it is not very difficult, guys. See, suppose you are, for example, suppose you are doing algebraic expressions of grade 8. Okay. So when you look at the chapter or when the teacher is teaching the chapter, you know that it involves multiplication of algebraic expressions, addition of algebraic expressions, and there are certain sums, practical problems involving algebraic expressions. You know that in order to know all those things, what is the basic thing that you should need to know? Exponents. You should know what exponents are. You should know what will happen to the powers of exponents when two terms are multiplied, when two terms are divided. If that part is not there, you cannot do this. You should know what variables are, basic, and you know how variables can be combined together, which are the variables we can add. You cannot add an x and a y and write xy. There are certain cases, some students, they write x plus y is equal to xy also. So all these stems from a lack of understanding of what you are dealing with. So check your concept. It will take hardly 10 minutes. Okay, when the teacher is teaching and you are not able to understand at all, if you are blank about what is happening, then you have to go down to your lower class. It is very clear. So check your concept. Learn the current concept. So if your previous concepts are very clear, learning the current concept happens directly in the class itself when the teacher is teaching. Okay, if you are not like that, go home, check your concept, learn the current concept. Okay, and then do not jump into any reference book. Teacher might have done a few sums in the class. Practice it once. Practice those sums once when you are home. Okay, then do the NCERT sums. See, how much ever times I tell the students, please do not skip the sums in NCERT. They think NCERT sums are too simple. I don't really need to do. But the fact is that NCERT sums are designed in such a way as to make your conceptual understanding very thorough, and also they give sums which you really need to put some logic and some intelligence into it. So first rule is always do the NCERT sums. Any concept that you are learning, suppose you are learning linear equations in two variables. I have taken a topic from grade 10. First, linear equations in two variables, you need to know what linear equations are. You need to know what linear equations in one variable are. You need to know how to solve linear equations in one variable. Then you need to know that I can put two or multiple variables in a linear equation and how to solve them. Okay, so these are the concept that you need before the class. This is the concept that you are learning currently in the class, and do the NCERT sums based on them. And whenever you are doing NCERT sums, please do not do only the exercise sums. Do the examples also, because they are very important, especially in certain chapters, lines and angles or triangles. I don't really remember of class 9. The exercise sums are really good. No, I mean the example sums are really good. So do not skip the example sums or the exercise sums. Schedule and time. The reason I have written this down as an important factor is because every single child, every single student has a different schedule. You know, from the time you wake up and what happens inside your house, from the time you go to school, how you travel to school, the kind of stress or kind of activities that you do in the school, and how you come back, the number of tuition classes that you attend, all of those comes inside the schedule. The time you sleep, how sleepy you are at a particular time, all those things. So that makes your schedule. Now time. Time basically means what is the time that you can actually put in for mathematics, or the time that you feel the least tired mentally. That is what I mean by the time. Are you comfortable doing maths in the morning? Are you comfortable doing maths as soon as you come back from the school, or late in the night, before dinner, after dinner, etc., etc. So based on that, you need to make a proper timetable in order to do maths. See, for example, you might have tuitions on Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays. So Tuesdays and Thursdays, you are practically in the evenings, you are free. Free in the sense you don't have to go for tuitions. So how would you adjust your timetable? Do you want to stick to the same timetable that you are making on Monday, Wednesday and Friday? Or do you want to change the timetables on Tuesday and Thursday? See, there is no rule like from 5 to 6 in the evening you have to do mathematics every single day. You need to keep a certain allotted time every single day, but that time can change every day. For that, you cannot take a random decision. You come from school today, Tuesday, and you decide, now I am going to do maths. So tomorrow you decide that, oh, I am going to get sleepy today, I am very tired today, so I am going to sleep today. I may do maths in the night. It may or may not happen. Fix a timetable every month. You know, before the first of every month, that weekend, fix a timetable in such a way that you write down a schedule. See, for 1 month, you can foresee your schedule. It is not like, you know, you are just going out for trips, or just because you have anyway school and you have classes. So your parents are not going to allow you to miss all that. Prepare a schedule for 1 month. Now, time. Maths practice should be done at a time where you feel the most fresh. Whenever you are not mentally tired, if you have had a hard day in the school and you are coming back tired, suppose your Wednesdays are back to back classes, three classes of science, two classes of maths, and then you have sports also. So by the time you come back, you are physically and mentally tired. On those days, if you want to take a nap in the evening, you can adjust your schedule in such a way that you do maths in the night. Personally speaking, the best time to finish off maths is in the morning. But then, our schedules are also so complicated. We have to leave for school sometimes at 6:30 also. It becomes slightly difficult. So fix a time which is most convenient for you to do the math practice based on your schedule.